Page 33, Quartette. On page 31, they have another game they'd like you to play. They want you to match up the key to the house based on the key signature. For instance, in the first house, in the upper left house where the two sharps are, that's the key of D major. So you find the key for D major and you draw a line from the key up to the house. Where up through the house? I don't know, just up to the house. It's magic. Just make it go to the house and that unlocks it. The next one, go over one, and I got one flat in it. That is the key of F major. So find the key for F major and draw that to the house. For the second row, the one on the left has two flats. That's the key of B flat major. So you find that key and go there. The next one to it, there's no sharps or flats in it, and that's the key of C major. So you find the key for C major in there. On the last row at the bottom, there's two sharps. We've already had two sharps, but we got it again. D major. So again, find the key for D major and draw another line from that key down to this house. And the last one has one sharp, which is the key of G major. So you find that key. On page 32, we're dealing with the Christmas tree thingy with the ornaments and all. And the ornaments you see are numbered with the little, right above the ornament, the little ball thing, whatever it is, the hook thing that it hangs on. They're numbered, and you go down below, there's a list of them with numbers, and you simply draw in the symbol or the note or whatever it is inside the ornament. For instance, number 1, this is treble clef, so you draw in a treble clef in that first ornament up there, and you can do those. If you have any questions, you're welcome to ask. All of these symbols we've been using in the music, so you can always go look them up too. But you should know all of these symbols by now instantly. This should be a piece of cake for you by now. It really should. Now, let's talk quartet on page 33. A quartet is a piece of music or an ensemble, a group of people or instruments that is 4. There's 4 instruments in the group, or there's 4 people in the group singing or whatever. That's a quartet. So when I see something titled quartet, I'm expecting to find 4 notes, 4 voices, as we call them, in this. And they may not always be present. They can come and go. But nevertheless, there would be 4 of them. So if you look at the first measure and the first 3 notes, there are 2 notes in each hand. That's 4 notes. So all 4 notes are being represented. All 4 voices in this quartet are being represented. But then if you look in the next measure, there's only 3 represented, I guess. I'm not sure how it splits it up unless, I mean, maybe they're all 4 there and the bottom staff, one voice does the first note and the other voice does the other 2. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Doesn't affect how we play it. I just want you to understand what a quartet is. Let's look this over. It's 2.5 lines long, treble, bass, clef, 1 flat in the key signature. We're in the key of F major. You need to go do my scale on F major, 1 octave up and down, and make sure you do the trill exercise because that's what's going to do you the most good. Then 4/4 time signature. Now, because the hands are playing at the same time, we're getting more involved in the music. The music's getting more difficult. Let's make sure we do this one hand at a time first. The right hand, they don't give you any finger numbers throughout here. I suppose they expect you to figure them out yourself. But I'm just going to tell you you're in C position to start here. So you're going to use 1 and 4 on those notes. Now don't be writing in a bunch of finger numbers all over here, please. If you have to write finger numbers in on the first beat of the first measure to tell you where the hand goes, that's fine. But don't write any others unless your hand has to move. So here we're just 1 and 4. And it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Hold that down for 4 beats and then go on. Get the idea? Let's go down to the last line. You're here. And then they want here, D flats. So we're just going to go down here. I don't like using the same finger on that, but because we're using the chords here and we have to lift up to play the chord again, then we can go ahead and just use the same finger. Just lift it up and here. here. Now there's other fingerings we could try, but I don't see the point. Let's just do that. That's fine. Left hand, well, the left hand's a little bit different. We have to look at a first couple measures or so, and is there one hand position that can handle all these notes? Because if we go here in F position, we can get that, but we can't get that note. I'd like to get that note, if I can. So what can I go here, and then here? I can do that, that works. Or I can go here, I can just be down here. I think I like 4 and 2 better. And this way, like just thumb, and then back up here, just stay, and then 2 and 1, and now you got to come all the way down. You just have to lift up and move. And then when you come back, now come all the way back up to here for the second line. That's 5 and 1 here. We're in F position now, because this is where we need to be for the next couple measures or so. And then second line, second measure, I'll do a 2 and then a 1, because I'm preparing for the next measure. The next measure's here, so I'm going to do a 2 and then a 1. This way I'm in position. It's the same as the first line. Then thumb on the last line. So get an idea of what each hand is doing, and then we try to put the hands together and see how it works. We're here. Here, then here, then here. Second line, I'm here. This is only moving a little bit, so I can focus on getting the left hand up. So here, there. And then the second measure in the left hand, do a 2 and a 1. Remember we did this before? And in the right hand, I didn't tell you, but I suggest you use second finger on the half note. This way, we're ready for the next measure of 3-1. Because if you do this, the thumb's got to come down again. I'd prefer not to. So this 2, then here, there, and now we're ready for the next measure. And hit, right hand stays where it is. This is a little tricky. It's got some moving around to do. Doesn't really fall under the fingers real well, as I call it. The notes are not exactly where we need them to be to make it comfortable to play all the time. It doesn't really sound like piano music. It sounds more like choral music or people singing or something like that. But a lot of times when playing piano, we get this kind of music, so we need to be able to play it. So once you go through and work out the hard parts, which is basically the whole thing, and get rid of the hesitations, so it's a steady beat, then we'll think about the articulation. They give a few phrases in here. Lift up, lift up, lift up, lift up. So lift up, like taking a breath. Lift up. You can lift up both hands. Just lift up for the phrasing. That's fine. Then the dynamics, well, they apply to the melody. They only give you one F at the beginning. Forte is loud. I would not play this whole thing loud. I mean, it can be on the loud side, but once you get into it and you start interpreting it, you make it get a little louder and softer. But the loud is for the melody. Well, that's a problem. I don't know how much control you have over your fingers yet. Hopefully you've got to where you can play one hand louder than the other. If that's the case, then play the right hand louder than the left. And this is saw. Play the right hand heavy and the left hand light. Now, if you've got good control over the fingers and you're doing well on that, then see if you can get to where you can play one note louder in the hand than the other. This isn't exactly beginner type stuff, but I've been pushing you all along. And if you don't get it, don't worry about it. We'll work on it later. But it's like at the beginning. Here, you got two notes. Rather than playing them both the same, putting the same amount of weight on both, I want to put more weight on the top note than the other note. So I'm playing one note heavy and one note light in the same hand. See, this is very light. I can play the melody because I'm focusing on putting a lot of weight on that melody note, and the other note is just light. The problem we have here is getting them down at the same time, because the light one will usually be late. They need to go down at the same time. So you're lowering the hand because it's a chord. I'm just putting more weight on that finger. Takes practice. And the left hand, you just play them all soft. Speed on Dante, just a stroll, just a leisurely pace. Don't drag it. Don't go too slow. But it's slower than moderato. Moderato would be about slow it down a bit. Yeah. Then let's get into the interpretation a little bit. Again, natural accents. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. This is after you've got all the mechanics out of the way. And if you never get the mechanics out of the way, then forget interpreting it. Just do this. Do the best you can. This 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. I exaggerate them so you can hear them better, but you just want to feel them. And then feel the phrasing. And that's about all I can do with this one, I think. Two measures, I felt that should go a little slower. I just felt it. That's interpreting the music. I just slowed it down a little bit and played those a little bit slower. Maybe even a little bit of softer too. It's up to you. Feel it. If you feel it, try it out. I mean, you're starting the first phrase here, and the next phrase is here, and the third phrase is here. See, each one gets a little higher. Well, I can get a little louder there if I want to. I mean, I just feel it. So the first phrase, then just a hair louder, and then a little louder, and now come back down, and then come down. It's interpreting the music. You get into it and you feel it and you experiment and play around with it and see what you can do with it. Let's play it together slowly and check all the notes and rhythms. Now, it's kind of hard when you're playing so many notes to hear them all. Are you really playing the same note? But I think if you play a different note than I do, it'll come out. It won't sound quite right. Maybe you need to play just one hand at a time for a while. That's up to you. But let's still try playing it together very slowly. I'm going to lift up for the phrasing, but I'm going to play both hands about the same. I'm not going to bring out the melody or anything, just the whole thing. I'll give us 4 counts. 1, 2, ready, go.